and we are recording right now. Thank you everybody again for joining us here on Big Marker this fine morning. We're going to be talking about desktop sharing, which is very exciting here at Big Marker. We've been spending a lot of nights up very late, so sorry if I look pretty tired. We've been doing a lot of work this last 2 weeks to get this ready and out the door for you. I'm sorry that it's taken so long, but we've made sure that it's very good and awesome for you. So we're going to be talking about desktop sharing again and other updates as well too on the website. So we will move forward. You are talking here today with Andy and Joe from Team Big Marker. These are our community heroes here. I'm Joe. Andy's in the same room with me as well, and he's chatting with you. He has Florida winning the big tournament, and I have Louisville. So Florida did not look very good yesterday against Albany, nor did Louisville, but that's okay because Iowa State, my real hopeful winning, is going to be great today. So the agenda today that we're going through is how to use screen sharing, obviously, here on Big Marker, the community chat, the conference creation process, the conference landing page, and the other updates and fixes. So we will talk about and show you how to use screen sharing. So we're going to actually screen share today, which bear with us. This is our first public time. Andy and I have actually done screen sharing for a presentation besides, with just our internal office. So we'll be going through that. And this process might be out of order. We're probably going to go through the creation process first because obviously we're going to create a conference to be able to share the screen sharing. So just a note on screen sharing to begin with before I actually start sharing my screen. You do need Java 6 plus. Screen sharing does work on Java. It is a download. Our screen sharing is actually a download. So that makes it a much better quality product than our original version, which was not a download. So you do need Java 6. You can just Google Java 6 to find it. I think actually it's Java 7 that's out now. Some computers do have them on. Some computers do not have them on it. We do have links in our help center to find where to download Java 6. So if you go to our help guide, you can find all the links that you need. You will need a fast, consistent internet connection. So our minimum to do video conferencing on Big Marker, so our minimum speed is 2 megabytes per second with an upload of half a second upload. Sorry, not half a second. 0.5 megabytes per second upload. That's just our minimum. That's to actually just join the room, watch somebody talk, listen to somebody talk, and talk back. That is not to be able to do all the forms and functions. That's just the bare minimum to get into the room. So to do screen sharing, you do need a much faster internet connection than that. We're saying probably 5 megabytes per second. We're not exactly sure what the threshold needs to be to make it so it's good. If you host a conference and do a screen sharing on 2 megabytes per second or lower, my guess is that the screen sharing will go probably pretty poorly and there will be a very large lag. Again, how screen sharing is going to work is it's sending a signal to our server, and then from our server it's downloading onto everybody's computer. So that just takes a while to go up. So if you have a slow internet connection, that process is going to be pretty bad. So please, please, please do not expect screen sharing to work really well if you do not have a strong internet connection. So for Macs too, it's just as a note, Macs, it's pretty cumbersome. So we're using a Java download, and for some reason, Apple in their recent update does not recognize any Java developers as a trusted developer source. So when you first download it and click to OK, your Apple computer will say that this is probably spam and please don't open it. And you have to actually go through onto where you've downloaded it, right-click on it, and open with. So it's just something to note as well, is that with your Mac, it is very cumbersome to use this. So please read our help guide if you are planning on sharing your screen on an Apple computer. Most of our users on Big Marker are on Windows. Windows computers are fine and they're great, but just a few people, if you are doing it on your Apple, please note. And then the last thing as well is your video. So I'm sharing my video, takes up a lot of your CPU's memory space and is also bandwidth heavy. So if you are sharing your desktop, we, Andy and myself, the support team, suggest probably not sharing your video at the same time as sharing your desktop. You can turn off your video and then just share your desktop and then turn back your video on right after. So that's just something to note for the quality. I'm going to be turning off my video for this so that it's a little bit easier for people to see this and it goes fast, better for everybody. So let's start screen sharing. So I am sharing my screen in a second. I'm getting everything ready. So it takes a few seconds to upload and get going. So I'm sharing my screen and you should be seeing it very shortly. So we are good. So right now we are on the conference homepage. So this is your, not the conference homepage, your personal homepage. You can see that I'm signed in the top right. See my little picture. You can see that I can host a new conference. So let's go through the new conference creation. I'm going to click host a new conference here. And you can see it's not a pop-up anymore. Now it actually goes to its own individual page. And we've made the page to look a lot like a web browser. So you can see it's got the little close things. Kind of looks like a web browser. So this is how you know what it's going to look like on the next page. So let's give this conference a title. So let's do 5 apps that every business needs. So we're going to fill out this like it is an actual conference. So these are the 5 apps that you need as a business owner. RSVP today. So underneath this, we now have a new section called Covering, where you can add these new topics. So we have actually 5 topics. So let's talk about all the 5 apps that we need to use. So we're going to do TweetDeck, which is what we use internally. We'll talk about Drip, which is an email service. We'll talk about, let's say, Square, which is something that you can use to use payments. Let's do Stripe and other payment processing. And then, of course, BigMarker. You need BigMarker as a business owner. So these are the 5 topics we'll be covering. And then let's pick a photo as well. So we click this button right here to select a photo. So we can go to our BigMarker folder, and I can select a photo on here of what to use. Let's see, do I even have a good photo that we can use? Yeah, let's just use this one. It is say desktop sharing and other updates, but I don't have my app one up. So on this screen, you can see that I'm editing our photo and selecting where the image actually goes. I hit confirm to place it. And then next, we have the when section, so I can select the date, the time, etc. for the conference. Let's actually select for now because I do want to enter this conference. So we'll do 1 minute in advance, so we have plenty of time for this to open. So the next section we see is hosted by. So this is the community that it's hosted by. We'll do Yeomans and Sons Sales. So I happen to be Joseph Yeoman, so this is my sons, I guess, or I guess I would be the sons. Selecting the category that this will be in. Let's do business. Who is going to be the presenter? That would be me. To the right, we have our conference options. Will this be a public or private conference? Well, let's leave this private so that it does not show up on the BigMarker homepage. Then if it is going to be invitation only, what style of format it's going to be. So again, we have the webinar or meeting format. So in your webinar format, you have more control as an administrator. In the meeting format, everybody is an administrator. So let's do it as a meeting, that's fine. And then do we want to upload it to YouTube? Where is this being hosted and the language that it's in? And then at the bottom we have sell tickets. So if you'd like to charge it admission, so we have a ticket type, chip in required, system requirements, and then at the bottom we have schedule conference. So let's schedule this conference. So once we have on the conference created, we have our invitation screen. So again, here you can send invitations. So we can send an invitation to joe@bigmarker.com. He'll get this invitation. We can select send invitations, and he's got that invitation going. So we see that this is the conference page. So on this conference page, you see that it's successfully been created. The name of the conference, the time, the category, about the conference, community it's presented by, so that's Yeoman & Sons, who's the featured presenter, which is me, our questions and discussion area, so I can post on here to say hello to anybody who's RSVPing. So we have everybody who's thankful to RSVP, post. And then we have our conference logistics next to that. So this lets you know a little bit more about the system requirements, more sending of invites. And then we have our enter conference button. So this is the new conference creation and conference landing page. The idea about these two pages is so you can, the idea between these two pages is to make it easier for you to create conferences and easier for people to RSVP for conferences. So we have a question about how do you edit and delete a conference. So that's very easy. We have this little edit button that says edit conference. Click that button and it goes back to your edit screen. So in here you can edit whatever you would like. So I've noticed that 5 apps. Well, these aren't all apps. So let's just say 5 computer programs that every business needs. Also, too, on this page, we see cancel conference up here in the right-hand corner. So this is how you would cancel your conference. If you want to cancel it, you click that, and it asks you if you want to cancel it. So that's how you delete your conference and delete your conference recordings. So I'm going to go back. I actually don't want to edit that. That's okay. So we have the 5 apps every business needs. So now let's enter this conference. So now we're actually going to be looking at a conference inside of a conference. It's going to blow your mind a little bit. So it's checking the system requirements. Give me 1 second so I can share my audio video. I'm in. We're in the conference room. Yay. So the big way of how to share your screen in here, make sure the first thing you do is you go to People and look to make sure you are presenting. So you do need to make sure you are the presenter to see all of this stuff. You need to be presenting. So you make yourself the presenter. You go to Share, and on your Share, you have your upload presentation. Well, now you have desktop sharing. Woo! You click Share My Desktop. But first, let's read the note underneath it. The quality of desktop sharing is dependent on the quality of your internet. Again, we'd mentioned that before. Sharing will not be recorded. So this is our first version of desktop sharing. It is not part of our recording loop. So just know that it will not be part of the recording. So if you watch this later, you actually not see the desktop sharing part. It is going to be added next. That is our next update with screen sharing, is to make it part of the recording. So Share My Desktop, we click this, and you'll see the screen changes, and it asks if I would like to use an application to download from the internet. Are you sure you want to open it? You click Open, and then once it's open, you actually start sharing your desktop. You will need to read through our help guides if you'd like to see more of the process. My computer cannot handle sharing 2 desktops at the same time, so I'm going to actually hit cancel and then stop screen sharing because, again, I cannot do it at the same time. As you can see, my screen sharing just stopped on this computer because I had to stop it on that one. So give me 1 second. Okay, so now we're back on the conference creation, the conference landing page. And again, that was how you shared your desktop, was just literally go to the Share section, click Share My Desktop, and make sure you handle the download of the Java there. For Windows, it's very easy. It'll recognize after the first time you've downloaded that you've downloaded it, and it'll go very quickly. For Macs, it is very cumbersome because of the security issues with Macs. So it's just something to know to read our help share guide, and that will tell you how to share it on a Mac. You have to go through and do a bunch of different things to get it to upload or change your settings. So it's just something to know, so please look at that. So now we're going to move on to our community chat, which again is a new feature here on Big Marker. So actually let me go to one of our communities. So we'll go to that saying Yeoman and Sons Sales. And you can see in the bottom right-hand corner of all of these pages we now have on your community bulletin, the community chat. So I'm going to click this community chat, and it opens up, and you can actually see who is online and actually is on that bulletin at that given point in time. So nobody is actually in this community at this time, so I'm actually chatting to no one. But if we went to a community that had people in it, we could easily see that there are people in it, and we can chat back and forth with them. So again, the chat is on the community bulletin. When you chat, it does not send an email to any of your members. It is literally a chat. I don't think I made it. 1 second. Give me 1 second, everybody, and I'll be in an account where we can do chat with somebody, and you can actually see what the chat looks like back and forth. Sorry about this. We're logging in. This is what our login page looks like. So now I'm on our Team Big Marker bulletin. So this is where our team uses our site to communicate back and forth. And you can see that there are 3 people online. So we have Jusong, we have Andy, and we have myself, Joe, Team Big Marker. So we can actually chat back and forth. So you can see that Andy has sent, hello, Joe, and I put in hello, Z and Andy. So when you chat, these chats are saved in there so you can read the chats later, but again, they are not emailed out to your members. So the idea with the chat is that it's literally just a chat so that you can keep this communication nice and light, and as Andy's saying, we're actually in a conference right now, which is great. So you can see this chat going on, and the chat works well here. You can even actually embed YouTube recordings in it as well, and all sorts of other fun things. It does emoji. So you can see that somebody embedded a YouTube recording in here. You can put some of your emoji things in there to have the fun smiley faces and things like that. So our chat is in beta. The idea with the chat is we're going to move the chat forward. So this type of chat makes its way into the conference room so that our chat actually has a lot more features in it as well. So that's the idea of the community chat, is that it'll eventually make its way into the conference room. So the chat is a new feature again. So in the bottom right-hand corner, you can chat with anybody at any time. So that makes it nice. And you just click it to open it. And that actually concludes our portion of the desktop sharing part. So I'm going to unshare my desktop. And I'll reshare my camera. So we are good and moving forward. So other fixes and updates as well. So this is the last portion of it. We added a section to get rid of ghosting, and I guess we've had a problem with ghosting in this one, so I can't really say that we have no more ghosting. That's a little egg on my face, I guess, but that's okay. I like eggs. We've also fixed the presentation when it comes down to flashing. So we used to have a problem where every once in a while, 2 presentations would hate each other and basically flip back and forth. And we didn't know what was going on, but we fixed that, so it'll stop doing that. We have also worked on some of the chat issues as well. So now if you scroll all the way up to the top and type, it'll go to the bottom. Or if you enter the room, it'll automatically go to the bottom. So we used to have another error where we had it where you could share a webcam inside of a webinar, even though you were, as an attendee, not allowed to. That was a fun error where if you had 2 webcams plugged in, you could select one and it automatically published. That has since been fixed, so you don't need to worry about people accidentally sharing their webcams on accident in a webinar when you've asked them not to. So that has been fixed as well. And in the community, we've actually done a lot better job with membership prompting. So now we're going to have a lot more, I guess they would be pop-ups in the nastiest of sense, but they're basically ways to get your members to fill out their profiles, add pictures, select the categories they like, etc. So those are different additions that we've added as well to make it easier for you and your members to know what to do next. So as a closing overview again, to share your desktop, make sure you have Java 6, fast internet connection. Use the community chat on the community bulletin to keep in contact with your community. Check out the new conference creation and landing page. It's very easy to do. You can actually go to bigmarker.com/host. Oh, wrong one. Sorry, don't click that one. That'll go to hosty, which is not a real place. There's host, and that'll actually take you through the conference creation process so you can see it yourself, and you can see the new landing page yourself. Obviously, if you want to follow Big Marker, please go to these places: our help page, our blog, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, etc. Our help center does have our help guide on how to share your screen. So if you have questions about how to share your screen, please go there first and read through that and try it out yourself, and then that'll show you how to use it as well. The step-by-step guide in there is very easy to look through. And then if you have any questions, obviously at any point in time, feel free to email Andy or Joe. You can do that at Andy@BigMarker or Joe@BigMarker. And thank you for attending today's conference, everybody. I'm going to hit end recording now. Okay, do you have any questions? Did you mention that screen sharing presentations are limited to 60 minutes? What happens if you have a conference that is 90 minutes? So when you create your conference, Alan, there is a section where you select how long you would like your conference to be. We have it so you can do 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. After every conference is ended, so 60 minutes, if you do an hour, you do actually receive an extra hour to keep hosting that conference. At the end of that hour, you will all be booted from the room. So if you host a conference that's an hour long and you go 121 minutes, you are all kicked out of the room. Just something to know. I think you should be able to share your screen the entire time. There shouldn't be a problem with sharing your screen for 90 minutes, 4 hours. I mean, that has more to do with, that's not on our server side, that's actually on your computer side. If you are using a very old computer and it's eating up a lot of your memory and you don't have a lot of memory, you might not actually be able to share for the entire 90 minutes. But that's more to do with your computer and your Java settings than it is to do with Big Marker. But yeah, you should be able to do 90 minutes. We've done 2 hours plus here in the office, 3 hours of just screen sharing while we're doing that. Now, to know as well is the screen sharing is good, but it's not necessarily good enough to live stream videos. That's something different. So if your plan is to live stream a YouTube video over this desktop sharing, it'll probably go pretty poorly. So that's just something to keep in mind, to just be quite honest with you, that it's...
you can do it, but it's going to be...
Yeah, you can do it, but it's not necessarily going to be... Yeah. Because we do it at a, it spits out range of, 6 seconds, I don't know, 6 frames per second, etc. Which isn't necessarily video quality. You should probably be fine with wireless. Wireless technology has gotten strong enough that it really shouldn't matter all that much. I mean, if you can plug in, that would be better, but I guess that depends on how quality of your wireless, device is. I use one was expensive 5 years ago, but, works fine when I screen share at home with testing it.
Just make sure you have everything turned off. The less things you have running, the better.
Yes. Earlier, Donald mentioned that local traffic can slow it down as well. Multiple computers, TVs doing streaming, etc. That is correct. We have had people that have tried different things on Big Marker in the past. My audio or video is not quality, and then you come to find three people in their house are streaming Netflix on three different devices at the same time. So obviously that slows down the computer as well and your internet connection as well. So that's just something to keep in mind, is canceling out all the other applications you have going on your computer. You don't really need your Microsoft Outlook email open and your downloaded Twitter application open while you're hosting a webinar or web conference. So you can turn those off while you do your screen sharing, etc., not having as many browsers. Now, just something else to know as well, the other few things as well is, so when you do your screen sharing, it just shares the whole screen. That is the first version. It does one whole screen. There's no way to select if it's smaller or larger. It just does the whole wham bam. So that's just something to know. When you screen share, you're given a preview screen. You're not given a preview screen. It just shows you that you are sharing your screen and to stop sharing. So if you'd like to see what it looks like, you have to have two different web browsers open and logged in at the same time. But again, that will lower your quality of your internet. So it's just something to know that basically we don't have a preview screen for it, and that's pretty much industry standard when it comes down to screen sharing. That's how any meeting does it, etc. So it's just something to know.
Private on your screen that's in the background, and you close the tab.
Yeah, Andy's mentioning just make sure that you don't have anything you don't want people to see, sensitive material, etc. In the background, just in case you accidentally close a tab and then they see something you don't want to see. As for this microphone, I can hunt down what it was, the external mic. It'll take me.
How much was it though?
It was like
$30.
30 or $40. It was cheaper. It was a cheaper version. I mean, I'd have to hunt it down. I'll look for it after this conference is over, and then I'll post the link to it on the conference bulletin page afterwards, if that's okay. Unless I can find it right now. Actually, I did just oh, it looks like they're actually sold out on Amazon. We bought the last one. It's $46.95 on Amazon. It is the CAD 03. I don't know. It's pretty nice. The only thing that I hate about it is it's got this flashing blue blinker thing. I'll show you if you guys want to see it. Here, we're doing my little Amazon thing. It does this little like flashing blue. That's kind of annoying, but the rest of the camera is pretty nice. It does a pretty good job. It plugged in really easily and is used really easily on here. But I hope it sounds good. The recordings sound better. Should have bought one a long time ago. All right, does anybody have any other questions? If you want to play a YouTube video as part of your presentation, can I? You can. I mean, you're more than welcome to do that. You're kind of more than welcome to share whatever you like on screen sharing. We just advise against it because, again, how screen sharing works is that it's sending 6 frames per second across the internet and to your members. That is not as fast as video is. So when your members watch the video, it's going to be choppy. And probably not have sound unless you figure out a way to share your sound from your YouTube recording into your mic. So that's just something to know. Again, video sharing is something we want to do in the future, especially YouTube sharing in the conference room. That is a feature we want to build. I do not know when it's going to be built, probably in quite a while. So just something to know. But for the screen sharing, you can try it, but we cannot guarantee that it's going to go well, to be honest with you.
We could do a little bit better now is actually put the YouTube in the room, and then you know when it show people where.
Yeah. Andy's mentioning to me that maybe it's a little easier if you want to do watch the YouTube video together, you could give them the link, and then you can start it on your screen sharing as well, so they can kind of see what they should be seeing.
Yeah.
I don't know. The video stuff, we definitely, Andy and I want to do more video stuff. It's just the limitations of the Flash room present problems, so that's just how it is. All right, do we have any more questions about how to use screen sharing? Or any other updates or coming updates, etc., that you have questions about that we can probably answer? PowerPoint animated slides are not a problem. They probably shouldn't be. I mean, this is, again, we haven't tested personally what a PowerPoint and animated slide looks like. I don't tend to use them anyway in personal use. So, I mean, those are up to, you'll have to use some trial and, error to find out if that's going to work or not. When we test everything, we test more functionality, like will this break if we put it under tons of stress? How long is how many seconds delay is it, etc. When we test it, how many people can get in the room. We don't really necessarily test how it's going to look with a keynote open, etc., because that's not really what we do.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah, probably be fine. I am partial to Star Wipes, though. All right, wonderful. Well, if we don't have any more questions, Andy and I are going to say au revoir to everybody, and hopefully you have a wonderful day. Second day of March Madness. Go Iowa State Cyclones. And hopefully your brackets all do well today. Thank you so much, and have a nice day, guys.